Like you.
Like me.
Like us.
It's Meghan like us. Thanks, guys. We're back for season 2, episode 2. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But Erin, how are you? How you doing?
I am thriving. But, we have to talk about this really dumb headline. This is another not like us. Okay, so page 6 has a headline that says, Meghan Markle insists people love the Netflix show, and she claims those who criticize it are, and they quote, trying to pay their bills.
Well, fine. There's a lot of money to be made in people that want to do the rage bait sort of content. So Meghan is actually right there. But also, she's right in another way. We do love the show. It's so cute.
I personally, my favorite part of this whole story is Meghan saying that haters are secretly her fans. Like, I cannot think of something that would drive a hater more crazy than being like, yeah, but it's because they love me. And it also drives into this narrative because people love to be like, oh my gosh, she's such a narcissist, blah, blah, blah. And like, I will now be adopting that. No one is a hater. Everyone's just a fan. And I will now be convicted that I'll be convicted. I'm now convinced that every hater is a fan. If you're a hater, you're just a fan. Love you.
Thanks for the engagement. But let's get into season 2. Erin, what you got?
Well, I'm sporty. I love a play-by-play. So let's bring you our review of season 2, episode 2, titled Past Our Bread Time. So we start off the episode and Meghan is making a 5-day sourdough starter, and she admits that she's actually been putting off making bread on the show because of how long of a process it takes. But this is a special occasion because Chrissy Teigen is coming.
Bread lover.
Bread lover. I'm a bread lover.
Pasta lover.
I've never actually made a sourdough bread, and each day Meghan keeps going on. So it's day 1, she's there. She's like, Chrissy's coming. Day 2, she feeds the sourdough. Day 3, day 4, day 5, she's feeding the sourdough. She's helping it grow. Yeah. And finally, on day 6, she's getting ready to actually make the sourdough bread. And when she's talking about getting prepared for Chrissy to come, I thought that was really interesting because obviously it makes sense to have Chrissy Teigen on the show. She's such a foodie. But to me, I felt like inviting Chrissy was actually kind of like a risky invite because she's had a lot of controversy for a while. And we don't need to get into it. But I personally, as someone who was a huge fan of Chrissy Teigen, I now feel like I have a little bit more complicated feelings about her than I used to. But it was nice to see her on the show again and see Meghan again. But I did feel and go through the whole episode feeling like still a little complicated feelings.
Wow. I do not have those feelings about Chrissy Teigen or John Legend. I'm pretty much all hands in on both of them. I've gifted her cookbook to friends, and they've told me that they've learned so many amazing techniques from her as well. She also does food, kind of like lifestyle stuff as well. But a lot of her recipes kind of take a nod to her roots and her cultural roots. So I thought that this episode, my only note was that I thought we were going to get to see something that Chrissy's more known for making. Like she does a lot of like pork belly, a lot of pork recipes. And then we have bread. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not wrong. But if you're going to have Chrissy Teigen there, I want to see her get into some Asian food.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just being honest.
I know, I get it. It was all of it was an interesting choice, but it was fun to see these girls together, and we'll get more into that later as to why.
And they've known each other for actually 20 years, and they'd say they haven't seen each other, right?
We'll get into that a little bit later, and we'll talk about why. So day 6, Meghan's making the bread, and it looks perfect. But the question is, like, how much has Meghan been practicing for this? Because she's like, oh, I've always put off bread making on the show, but then she makes this sourdough, and it's perfectly not stuck to the pan, a beautiful design, and she easily gets it out of the Le Creuset pot, and everything about it looks so good that I just think she's obviously putting in her 10,000 hours, obviously, because the bread looks great. And then she cuts it because she says, oh, we're going to make the tartine as one does, and it has a perfect little ASMR crunch. And then she gets into making a Thai boba tea because Chrissy will be arriving soon. So I do enjoy a Thai tea. I've mentioned on the show before, I don't drink a lot of condensed milk, but I do love a Thai tea. And when I see Meghan making this tea, my first thought was that she didn't use condensed milk. And I thought that was an interesting choice. She's like, oh, you can make the boba beads, which that was cool to see. And then we're going to add whole milk. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. In the back of my head, I go, she really should be adding condensed milk. Chrissy comes in, and we'll get into this later. But Chrissy comes in, and she mentioned she hasn't seen Chrissy in 20 years. And to me, you said this too, but when they said 20 years, I was like it made my brain break because I couldn't remember why they saw each other 20 years ago, because who knew Chrissy Teigen or Meghan Markle back then for 20 years? We didn't know them. We didn't know who they were 20 years ago. Did you know who they were 20 years ago?
I think we've known Chrissy Teigen for almost 20 years.
But not 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, because
in 2005?
I mean, you don't know anyone until they're someone. So, like, she wasn't any, you know what I mean?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So so the fact that, like, they obviously, she's saying, I haven't seen her for 20 years. I start thinking, we didn't know neither of you guys 20 years ago. So I'm glad that they knew each other. Then she starts making this tartine, and she says, when you make the tartine, you have to have ricotta. Are you laughing at me?
That's the meanest take you've had.
Is that a mean take? We didn't know them.
They're gonna see this.
In 2005, I'm sorry, I was in 6th grade. In 2005, I didn't know Chrissy Teigen or Meg. They weren't checking for 12-year-old me.
They weren't.
They weren't checking for me.
They were living in the good. Like,
they don't know me now.
It's true.
They don't know me now. Like, I don't know. If they're going to be like, who is Erin? Who didn't know us 20 years ago? We don't know her. We don't know her right now. They don't know me right now. I don't know. Anyways, so I love that they've been friends for 20 years.
Well, they're not friends. They just haven't seen each other. So there's probably a story. We got to get behind that at some point.
We're going to get into the story.
We got to get into the story.
So then she's making this tartine on the sourdough bread, and Meghan says, like, Cotta. And she says it like Giada, and then she checks that she said it like Giada, and all of it was just very much like, you have to watch a lot of Food Network and be online to know all of this joke.
Hey,
and
Giada is also like, she's from LA. She's an LA girl.
I think that it's funny that Meghan is just someone who exists on the internet and watched a lot of Food Network.
Erin, that is the most like us thing ever.
I know.
I used to pretend that the microwave was the camera, and I'd be like, I'm going to pour my cereal with milk. And like, it's so comforting to know that Meghan was doing the same thing, watching Nick News like me.
I know. And here we are now with a camera that's real.
Yeah, that's cute.
So then, after she's done making the tartine, Chrissy arrives, and John Legend's with her, which I do like John Legend. So it was cute that he was there. And every once in a while, I still sing in my head, the headband of the day. It's the headband of the day. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, this is deep internet lore.
Wait, I'm trying to remember. It
on the
familiar.
early days of, I feel like this is actually a Twitter thing.
I think it's Twitter, right? Yeah.
Early Twitter. And Chrissy I think they were on a vacation. And so when on the vacation, she had packed a lot of headbands for the vacation.
Yes.
And John started singing like, it's the headband of the day. And like, it became a thing that he would sing about her putting on a headband. Throw your locks away. It's the headband of the day. So like, when I saw John, I was like, oh my God, I wish he would sing the headband song, because they don't make that content anymore, but I do miss the headband of the day song.
It's the headband of the day. Push your locks away with the headband of the day.
Bring it back.
Wait, there was also separate, non sequitur. There was a separate piece of content where their oldest daughter was interviewing John. Did you see that?
No.
It is so adorable.
She's cute.
They have a cute family.
Yeah, they have a cute family.
Really cute family.
See, I told you it's complicated because I like them.
Everything's good. I would have told H to come.
So Chrissy comes in with John. When Meg sees John, she says, I would have told H to come. And which is so funny because sometimes when sometimes your friend does bring like their husband or their boyfriend, and you don't have your guy with you, and you think to yourself like, oh, the boys could have had a play date. And like, that's what Meghan basically says, which is great. Anyways, so then Chrissy drinks the Thai tea, and she tells Meghan it's missing the condensed milk, which is what I thought when she made it. So then Meghan goes to grab the condensed milk, and she adds it. And I do like Chrissy's candor, because she said she drinks it. She's like, Meghan's like, what does it need? And she's like,
condensed milk.
oh yeah. And she like goes and grabs it, and she starts adding it in, and then they put the Thai tea to the side. And then the day has not even started yet, and Chrissy's just like, this is my ideal day. They They have not made one thing. They haven't even talked about what they're making yet. And Chrissy's just like, I'm excited to be here.
You know what? The vibes were good. I don't know if you've seen like the outside shots and the inside shots of the house that they're shooting at. But I feel like Chrissy got there and was like, "Oh, this is a real production. Okay, they doing it in here."
No,
like,
it's real.
This Netflix money. Like, it was giving like, "Oh, he got a budget." What is that, Quinta Brunson? Ooh, he got money.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's kind of how Chrissy showed up.
Yeah, it was like good energy.
Yeah.
Then the ladies are deciding that they're gonna make cheese sourdough crackers. So they're gonna use the bread from the sourdough bread. And basically, they're making like a form of a Cheez-It.
Yeah.
And Chrissy says that usually she makes long recipes. So when she's cooking, she cooks food that you have to braise the meat. It takes 3 to 4 hours. That's not like us. I like a quick 30-minute meal.
Yeah.
Meghan obviously does too, because a lot of these are really quick recipes. But Chrissy says that usually at her house, John is the cheese grater. But right now, because she's working with Meghan, she's grating the cheese. Then Meghan says, okay, well, once we get the crackers in the oven, let's go make flower jewelry. And this part is really such an adorable, sweet idea. They're making jewelry for their kids. It'll be like, it's going to match their birthdays, the flowers for the colors of the birth month. And it's going to be nice. And Meghan's like being sentimental, like, oh, we're going to make jewelry for our kids for their birthdays. And Chrissy looks her dead in the eye and she says, I don't know my kids' birthdays. And she pulls up her arm. She
pulls back the sleeve.
She has tattoos of the months and the days. And then she's like, oh,
April
no.
14th, May, wait, is that 16 or 18? Oh, no.
And Meghan's like, I think it's an 18. And then she's like, John. And she calls John, who's in the back green room. When's Miles' birthday? And he's like, it's the 18th. And she's like, oh, okay, I guess. And like, what was going to be super sweet, Chrissy's like, I have 4 kids, which is a lot of kids. It's too many birthdays. So like, she's like trying to keep up. By the way, when she tells Meghan, like, oh, I have 4 kids and this many cats and this many pets, blah, blah, blah. And Meghan's like, how are you doing that? And she's like, I don't know. And then it turns into that she doesn't know people's birthdays. And you're like, oh, that's why she doesn't have space in her brain.
Yeah, she's just living.
For all of these things.
She's handling it. She's
to
coming as it comes.
Like, literally.
She's like, probably going to count. Oh, tomorrow's Mom's birthday. I'll call Disneyland. We'll just go up there.
One pitch at a time.
I mean? Like,
one pitch at a time. That's where she's going. So she's like, okay, well, like, let's go out to the garden. Let's grab some flowers. And so Chrissy and Meghan head out to the garden as per usual on this show. And Chrissy says, oh, usually I buy these things on Amazon. And then they go into the crafting room. And when they get into the crafting room, Chrissy's like, oh, this is nice. Again, to your point, she is looking around being like,
ooh, this is a good set.
Oh, we've been here. This is nice. And so they're in the crafting room and Meghan says, yes, this is kind of my crafting room. I like to craft in here. And they start doing flower pressing. And Meghan has a device that dries the flowers in the microwave.
And you like do it every 10 seconds and you pause and you do it, you know, kind of almost like how when you melt chocolate.
Exactly. And there was something that Chrissy mentions that she says, this is really nice to do something without electronics, which is funny because the microwave isn't electronic. They are actually using an electronic device to do this thing. But Meghan does not correct her. She says, yes, it's nice to not have scrolling because she knew what she meant and she's polite.
Well, I mean, it was more about the communication device,
correct.
Right? She was the electronic communication.
100%.
We just forgot the word communication, okay?
Meghan inferred what she meant, and she said, yeah, we're not scrolling. Like, this is nice. It's nice to do mindless activities. And then we get into why they haven't seen each other for 20 years and how they knew each other 20 years ago. And to my point, we did not know them because they were Deal or No Deal girls together.
Yeah.
And something really sweet, which I feel like I should have known that. I feel like maybe at one point I did know this, but I completely forgot that their paths crossed at this point in their lives until it literally got brought up. I just genuinely, when they said 20 years, this whole time I was like, what? How?
Yeah, I remember the Deal or No Deal thing, but it was definitely a deep-seated memory as well for me.
Yeah.
But when they started talking, like as soon as I saw them together, I actually got a flashback of Meghan at the suitcase.
I've only seen clips of people showing her with a suitcase, but I feel like I was too young, small. Like as a late night show, I didn't feel
really
like
watch it too much.
I was watching it, so
Yeah.
I didn't like. I'm not like I didn't remember
the time period it was in and like the history around it.
I
the
remember
era.
Deal or No Deal existing, but I didn't remember
the details.
Exactly. So them talking about being on Deal or No Deal together. And this is really sweet because Meghan says, you got famous right after that. She's like, and by the way, you were like and they both were like alternates at a certain point, and then they finally made it up to be Case Girl. And then Chrissy talks about that she had like kind of a really fast trajectory on the show from being an alternate to being
like
a Case Girl to then being like the main Case Girl. So it just came really fast for her. And then Meghan acknowledges like, yeah, and then you got really famous. You were on Sports Illustrated. And I remember being like, wow, that's Chrissy. And they talk about that the work conditions of the show like maybe weren't that great. Like really, the one story is like, yeah, we took our eyelashes off, but they were saving the eyelashes and thinking like, are they going to reuse those?
Have you ever been in one of those situations where you've worked alongside someone and then like they just literally took off? Like whether it was like someone on a sports team that like maybe wasn't as good, or maybe in your entertainment career, like someone you've been a model besides, and then you're like, oh my God, they're on, this all the time.
I think it's really fun to see people just really make things their own. Like, especially in the content creation world, it was really fun in the early, because I was on TikTok pretty early back in 2020. I was on Musical.ly back before it was TikTok. And there were a lot of creator programs to get people to really start making content on TikTok. And I was in a creator program that Macro, the production company, put on that was TikTok for Black creatives. And it was like a top list. And some of the people in that program, they are some of your favorite creators now. And there's something so special to see when we were all like in group me chats together and being like sharing links and being like, how do I do this? So I'm trying to do that. And the people that they would have come and speak life into everyone as creatives. It was a really special program, and it's really cool to see just how successful some people really have taken off to be. I just love seeing people do well.
Me too.
It's really fun. Yeah, whether it's through sports or entertainment.
And then Meghan ended up being a freaking duchess. Like, you're like, yeah, I got Sports Illustrated, girl, but you're like in like the book of life.
Well, that's what makes Meghan is cool when she's like, girl, you were famous before me. She basically says that. People knew who you were when no one knew who I was still. And not in less words, but that's what she says. Yeah. And also the working conditions of pretty girls in Hollywood. It's definitely just giving like an Entourage flashback. Like I just felt like they were talking about being in an episode like they're like, they just were throwing us to the side. They're like, the pretty girls go over here, and everyone's just kind of doing stuff together. Anyways, we get back to the crackers. Chrissy's talking about that there was a time that she went to a Cheez-Its museum, and it was a super long line, and she never even made it to the top of the line. But they see these cute little sourdough Cheez-Its that they make at home, Nara Smith style, really. And Chrissy says, it's my instinct to take a picture, which is funny because literally in the last segment, she's like, I love that we don't have electronics. And then she sees all the crackers and she's like, I want to take a photo of the crackers. And Meghan's like, do it. So then she does. And we see the picture that she ends up taking probably for Instagram socials, and just like also for like life memories. But that told me, to your point of Chrissy being a star, when your instinct is to create content in that way, and it was her instinct to see something aesthetically pleasing and to snap a photo that she knew she could share later, that is actually what makes someone a good content creator, is having that instinct. Not everyone has that instinct. Some people, I forgot to shoot that. Oh, I forgot to do that. I bet you Chrissy never probably thinks that. She's probably been on top of it to architect this brand that she's built for herself. And it's because she's intentional.
She's a businesswoman.
Yeah. Then we cut to, because Meghan always gives her guest a gift, we cut to her making rose water. So Meghan starts talking about the various roses that she likes and their names. And it cracked me up because she's just like listing roses, which I don't think I've ever even thought to look up what roses are called outside of just like the color that they are.
This is how I found out that there was a rose named Pope John Paul II. Like, I didn't know he had roses.
It's hilarious.
This was literally the reason. This is the only reason why I knew about that.
No, it's so funny. And she just starts like listing. She's like, these are my favorite roses.
On this podcast.
Do you have a favorite rose?
I don't know. Cute.
Right. I like a pink rose.
I like different types of flowers. Yeah. Roses aren't necessarily my favorite.
She has favorites.
I like a rose like bush in front of a home. I think they're really chic.
When I think of roses, I do think of Alice in Wonderland, and that's all I can. In my head, this whole time we've been talking about the rose water, I'm like, we're painting the roses red. So she takes the dried rose petals and the distilled water, and she pours the water into the pan. And as she's pouring it, she's about to use a profanity, but then she doesn't. She says, "Oh, sugar," and I thought that was a sweet euphemism for when you mess up. I might take that. It was cute. It was cute that she did it. I caught it. And then she starts talking about the science of making rose water. And then she does another reference where she says, I sound like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Man, one time he came into my job.
That's cool.
And this is a job that a lot of people come into. Like, I'm not trying to, this is, a lot of people came there. I've never seen anyone that came in that everyone was fully fanned out over, trying to take photos, breaking NDAs. Bill Nye is that dude.
Bill.
Like there was a swarm of people in suits behind him, like trying to.
If I would be excited to see Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I was hyped.
Should we do Like Us?
Aaron, I was hyped, and it was my second time seeing him. I swear.
So obviously, Bill Nye Like Us coming next.
We love Bill Nye. He's usually at like Caltech.
I always think about like there was an episode of Bill Nye that I've never forgotten. It's how they make the dry ice and they use the CO2 and they have the chamber and he has the gloves. It's really I think that's a legendary Bill Nye episode. Actually, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
That one sticks out to me too.
So after she has her little Bill Nye science experiment of creating the rose water, she puts it in a cute little vessel that has a spray. And this is so adorable because the cameramen love to be involved. And I didn't realize, usually we say camera guy as just like an all-encompassing gender-neutral term. Mm-hmm. This was literally all of the boys that were behind the camera. And she sprayed like 4 or 5 different men with the rose water. And everyone's like, she sprays all of them. It's really cute. Oh, take your glasses off. They're like removing their glasses. Everyone gets a moment of rose water. It's very adorable. And now we cut to the jewelry with Chrissy. So this part in the beginning, it's mildly a mess, but in the way that Chrissy Teigen can bring this endearing, chaotic energy. So first of all, Meghan names the flower wrong because she's like, oh, do you need more Hansworth? And it's not Hansworth, it's Hawthorne. Meghan thinks that there's a kid named Hansworth. Chrissy thinks there's a kid named Hansworth. Everyone's like, who is Hansworth?
They're like, who is Hansworth?
Like, we don't know who this is.
16th. And so Miles and Archie were both Lily of the Valley.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Hansworth, this one.
Uh-oh.
What?
I was like, you have a kid named Hansworth?
It's my child you've never heard of.
This. Sorry.
Hansworth. By the way, if I could have kept a secret like that, I mean, impressive. Isn't that what that flower's called? Hansworth?
Chrissy starts having a giggle fit, and then they like settle down a little bit because in order to make the flower jewelry, you have to use the resin, then you cure it with the UV light. And so Chrissy brings up that the UV light reminds her of when she worked at a store that was like a store that had light-changing clothing. And so she's like, oh, this reminds me of my light-changing clothing store days. And Megan's like listening, and she's like, I don't actually really remember having an instance like that, but I was the rush chair of my sorority, so I had to say welcome to Kappa to everyone. She's like, so that's my time where I had to greet people. I have had a job where I've had to greet people. Have you?
Yeah, I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch.
Abercrombie is the main one, and
hi, do you like our sexy fleece?
Ours was. Do you know Phelps or Emerson? And those were like the fragrances of the time. It was the children's store. So why were they selling fragrances in a kids store? Aggressively in the kids store. I don't know. It was a good time though. So then Meghan breaks the news to Chrissy because Chrissy's like, oh, I actually really like this activity. This is so cute. Like she starts getting into it. But then the jewelry is going to take 24 hours to set. So Meghan's like, I'm going to have to mail it to you. You don't get to take it home today. Chrissy's like, okay. And she's like, but I have rose water for you. And she's like, okay. She goes out the rose water. They go back inside to say farewell to Chrissy. And the episode, to your point, is a lot more snack than meal. They did snack and craft. And I think the reason why is because maybe they were bonding over both being mothers. And so it was like, what's a fun snack to make is a Cheez-It, an at-home Cheez-It, and something to honor our kids, this jewelry. They invite John in. He eats a Cheez-It too. He's like, oh, these are pretty good. And then Meghan gives us one final tip as she sends the jewelry off to Chrissy, which is you can cut a straw to make it so that your necklace doesn't tingle.
Yeah, that was a cute little trick.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to incorporate that. I've seen it like on those like little weird videos, but I'm going to do it myself.
It's like a 30-second hack or whatever.
Yeah, and they're like, you could just use the cheese stick to, and it's like, why would I use that? But Megan's video made sense, so I will use her
She
tips.
cuts a little straw and you put it in. It was great.
Swaddling a baby.
Oh, I miss swaddling. I know.
You can have Hansworth. There you go.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
you
John,
guys.
for being so patient.
John.
Look at those flowers and stuff. It looks like it matches her outfit.
Right? It's like it,
Matches her pants.
oh, try your cheesy crackers.
Yeah, try a cheesy cracker.
Homemade.
Oh my
They're
goodness.
they're really good. You're gonna be making these at home now,
Boom.
right?
Who needs Cheez-Its?
Well, Aaron, so they had crafts, we have crackers, friendship, rekindling of love. But were they like us, Aaron? What do you think?
Well, Megan's bread pun was on par for me. I love a pun. She had a pun in the oven, if you will.
A pun in the oven.
But yeah, I did like the it's past our bread time. I thought that was great. And I felt like she was, a very generous host. And I thought that was great. Like, Chrissy mentions like, oh, I would actually make this change. And she just gets into changing it. And so, yeah, I did feel like there were a few things that were like us. Lastly, as soon as she sees John, she's like, oh, I should have told H to come. And I feel like I have done that before too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm usually the Chrissy, though. Like, because me and my husband were pretty tight as a pair. So I'm usually like, shoot. Like, one time I brought my husband to a party that was an all-girls party. And the husband was there with the baby. And the husband took the baby that was also a boy. So Kaya was the only man there. I felt so bad. I was like, I didn't read the invitation. I'm so sorry to everyone involved. So it's a big like us for me and a big oops. But John Legend's always welcome anywhere I'm at, Chrissy, so bring him. And that piano too.
What were your likes us?
I think my likes us for this episode are rekindling old friendships. I too just got back in touch with some friends after 20 years. And as
You've only been alive for 20 years. That's so funny.
I know I've only been alive for 20 years, but I knew them as a 5-year-old. So
okay,
they were willing to level with me and go back, and tell those stories.
Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other's gold.
Yep.
I told you I like a little corny pun. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Tune in next week where we cover season 2, episode 2. Tan France is on the show.
I love Queer Eye. I love Tan France. Can't wait to see what they're probably going to make kids stuff too.
I hope there's a French tuck.
Oh, I love just everything about Tan. He's so handsome. He's just good to look at.
He's nice to look at.
He's nice to look at. It's a cutie pie. Well, in any case, that's all we got for you today. Please like and subscribe, comment, follow Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you also follow our socials for our show, which is Like Us Pod. Everywhere, Instagram, TikTok. I think we're even on Facebook. But you can also follow me individually. I'm Danielle. D is for Danny on all socials.
And I'm Erin Jones Wesley at Erin Jones Wesley on all socials. And please share and subscribe. Thanks.
It's been real. It's been fun. But it hasn't been real fun. See you guys later.
It has. Bye.